It was a clean start to Session 1, and the whole pack cascaded through the first two sectors in one mass. Felix was pulling ahead, but halfway through lap 2 he was showing signs of weakness. Arrowhead tried to take advantage but couldn't quite make the pass, and shortly after Max Bailey caught up with him and forced him to the outside around Prost. Oeub made it to 4th. After the first round of pit stops, it was Felix, Fulness, Bailey. Bailey took the inside line around Grosjean, but this time he couldn't make it stick and they continued to duel intensely. But over the Ford bridge, Bailey snatched second and held it. Over much of the race, another duel was unfolding between DJ and Babbles, both playing a high-risk game of leapfrog as the race developed. It seemed as though DJ had the advantage, but he was distracted and made a critical mistake through Forest Point. Toward the end of the race, Fulness had taken second back from Max Bailey, but a slow line through Croissant enabled Bailey to reclaim the position. It was plain sailing for Felix, who won the race a long way ahead of the pack. Max came second, Arrowhead third. Session 2 opened with a series of mishaps. First, Dr. LJ went wide and almost lost control. At Grosjean corner, Mr. Person's Atenza got away from him, and he caused quite a pile-up. Nova built up a lead with an intense battle for second going on between Erke, X11, Catch and Wittmann, with X11 gaining the upper hand. Later on, Mr. Person found himself in a prolonged duel with Schleddy, the two drivers more or less evenly matched. Toward the end of the race, Redline, who had started 7th, was fighting Catch for 5th. They made contact here and there, and the frustrated Redline could be seen flashing his headlights now and then, a definite no-no. Their battling allowed LJ to catch up, and the following lap, at Grosjean, Catch went wide onto the grass, allowing his two rivals to get past. LJ hounded Redline to the end, but couldn't get past. Victory to Nova, with X11 and Wittmann on the podium. Session 3 had a processional start, Defsun and Ismailik fighting for the lead with Fernando a little way behind. A battle for 4th raged on between Nunu, Slowest Guy, Hunty and BINARYTHEORY for several laps. Hunty lost his nerve and crashed at Sacre Bleu, and Fabuki joined the fray. Nunu lost ground also, and it was Slowest Guy in 4th now fending off the aggressive BINARYTHEORY. But at the end of the following lap, Hunty once again lost control and limped into the pits. Going on to Ford Bridge, Fabuki lost his nerve and hit the barrier. BINARYTHEORY took position, but the two drivers would trade places again. Out in front, Defsun had earned a huge lead and would go on to win, while Fernando and Ismailik battled for second. Ismailik went for the undercut, but Fernando spotted it and changed strategies on the fly, nipping into the pit lane just in time. It was an absolutely crucial pit stop, and Ismailik came out ahead by 4 seconds, to finish second with Fernando third. In Session 4, Cooper had a very poor start, losing 3 places right away. The field was tightly packed all the way through the first sector, and miraculously without incident. Doogie went around Prost corner clumsily, shattering his hopes of a podium finish, and at the end of Verdun Straight, Fives miscalculated a move to the outside line and completely lost it. By the beginning of lap 3 he was making up places again, while ahead, JMML's McLaren became very squirrely down the Serpent curve and barely held on. Fives took advantage and also went on to take 8th from the struggling Scotty, who compounded his error by punting Fives at a lazy corner. Christopt was also having a difficult day, losing the rear end, locking up now and then, giving Fives a chance to reclaim 8th position. Christopt's troubles persisted, and he joined the list of drivers stymied at Sacre Bleu. Tony barely escaped intact. Out in front, Lam was hot in pursuit of Pachito. Mirroring what we saw in Session 3, he opted for an undercut, but Pachito saw it and dived in at the last moment. Lamb got out first and dominated the race from that point on, taking the checkered flag with Pachito a distant second, and Doogie, after a disastrous start to his race, reclaimed his honour with third. Tiger Tom's start was poor, and he dropped from pole to third, but he was able to make it back into the lead in short order. An intense midfield battle developed with Vlave, Stag, RL20, Mikhail and Edin all jostling for position. But Judoka, who had been comfortably in second position, caught gravel coming out of Forest Point and went careening sideways across the road. Dangerously reversing back onto the road, he caused collisions with the two Renegade drivers who had been leading the midfield pack. Now Stag had the advantage, with Judoka crawling to the pits for a change of tyres. RL20 was dicing with Edin, but didn't hold up under pressure, knocking the barrier at Frost Corner, and a few laps later his name was added to the list of Sainte-Croix Blue victims, desperately trying to recover on the threshold of Ford Bridge. Out in front, Gnarly illegally held onto a penalty for an entire lap, but Neutron caught him anyway and neatly passed him at Forest Point. Otherwise the race was relatively free of incident, and Tiger Tom finished first. Neutron came second, with Gnarly third. Okay then, let's look at the results. Volex Esports and Turismo Racing both have a lot to be happy about for this round, because they've both won 2 races each. And I'd like to give a shout out as well to brand new team Kinetic Racing. They've secured 2 second place positions in this first round at the very start of their existence. There's a fair few people independent as well. That means that they're not part of a team. And let's look at the championship results. 21 points for all the drivers who won, meaning that everybody who won a race also grabbed the point for pole position. And we've got the rest of the championship results here. It's right at the beginning. Anything can yet happen. Now, before I let you go, I've just got one little thing to show you. These eSGT videos are made possible by Formula XD, a racing team strategy game that puts you in the role of team manager. You'll hire drivers, deal with engine suppliers, get loans and sponsorship, and direct R&D, and then control race strategy as your drivers duke it out on the track. It's not going to be easy. You'll start at the bottom and try to take the ultimate prize of Constructors' Championship over the career mode, or face a series of short challenge scenarios. On the way you'll deal with extreme weather, cheating engineers, stray animals, prima donna drivers and even mad bombers. Formula XD is available on Steam and itch. The only question is, can you manage?